What is up, Goat World? It's me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another Goat format video. All right, we are back again with the power rankings. This time we are going to be covering the Red Conference. With me again today, I have my co-war chiefs. Again, I have Indoors and Kuru. Make sure before you watch this video, or hell, even after you watch this video, just go back and look at the previous one so you can get the full idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. But here we are. We're back. How you guys feeling again today?
I somehow feel exactly the same as I felt no, sorry, not 5 minutes ago. I feel the same as I felt 1 day ago. Wow, it's kind of a feeling of deja vu, you know? Like it feels exactly the same.
Yeah, I've just been sat in this same spot waiting for you to call us back again. So I'm really glad that you called us.
Right on, right on. All right, so just a quick reintroduction. What we're doing here, we are doing the power rankings. We're doing the Red Conference today. Yesterday we did the Blue Conference. All right, so are you guys ready to do this?
Let's go.
All right. Coming in right away at the number 13 this time, because this Red Conference does have 13 teams.
Yeah.
All right, coming in at lucky number 13, we have the BIRDCAGE. Okay, BIRDCAGE. This team was an offshoot team of the bird. What was it? Birds of Prey that kind of collapsed, which I've never seen before. You know, you have a main unit. The main unit completely folds, and the side unit stays around. So they did not rebrand. They're led by It's Gucci. I met this duelist. He's a very cool guy. Crimson Mist, GBO, Ice Ricer, King Snail, which is Gary G, and Murray, and Oops of Cow. So what do we think? We're gonna start with you, Indoors, right away. What do we think about this BIRDCAGE team? Why do we put them at number 13 in the Red Conference?
Yeah, this was of course a great storyline I was going to say in the season, but it was in the off season. A team springing up, creating a sister team, and then the main team completely collapsing in on itself. The reason I put these guys last isn't because I think that they're necessarily bad players. I think they've got a couple of good players. Like I think Gary G is good. GBO stole some wins. I just think that given the way that their team came about, I'm not sure that they'll last the whole season necessarily. I think the Discord server is potentially quite chaotic. I don't know how serious everyone will be taking it. That's the reason I put them below some of the other team.
Okay, what about you, Kuru? What do we think about BIRDCAGE?
Yeah, it feels so strange to put a team with Gary G on it last, because Gary G's technical play is pretty good. I don't know about his tech choice, but his technical play is solid. The reality is that like the league is a lot harder this season, and this team to me, aside from Gary G, basically looks like the exact same power level as free agents in season 1, and the team was like really not very good. So it's like about that. And while Gary G is like quote unquote solid, right? He's like definitely not a guaranteed win, even against the mid-table teams. So I think they're going to struggle in regard to that. I do think in terms of player quality, they are the 13th. They are the 13th team. I don't think any of the teams have worse player quality than this. But their player quality is like not bad. Like they're going to take some games for sure.
And I think that team might be ripe for some poaching. I think a lot of high tier teams might be looking, if someone's performing very well, a lot of teams might be looking to swipe players from their team to add to their roster.
Speaking of poaching, I don't know how the hell Birdman made this team, made his main team, and then when the main team dissolved, he didn't go to this team. He just went to some other team. Like that's a bit fucked up to me.
That whole story is just crazy to me. It's hilarious, but you know that's the War League, man. That's just another day in the Goat format War League. Okay, we're gonna move on. Number 12, we have the Formula. The Formula is an offshoot development team created by SDL last minute. He's got Cosmo, Beast Mode, led by Cosmo, Beast Mode, CG, Kit, OG, BG21, Omega Thunder, Sammy, and Sham for Wow. Sham Wow. What do we think about the Formula? I think they are not that bad. I think they're going to beat some people. They're going to shock some people. What do we think about the Formula? We'll start with you, Kuru.
How well this team does really depends on how much they just listen to SDL and become warrior bots. I don't really feel like it's like kind of bad form to call like players out on weaker teams, but Sammy is someone who's been very active in a lot of Discords and posts a lot of weird ideas. I think that if this team discusses too much and like listens to people like Sammy too much, it's like kind of shade, but like not exactly shade. Like they won't develop as well. I think if they just like literally listen to SDL, they'll do a lot better than if they discuss stuff on their own. It sucks to say, like I'm just being honest. This team could either finish last or they could finish like 9th at best. I don't think they have a chance to make playoffs, but it is what it is.
Dang. Harsh, but it's all good. Okay. What about you, Indoor? What do you think about the formula?
Yeah, I think these guys actually have some like potentially good players. This is, potentially a team that come free agency, if they have some players that perform well, could not that I'm condoning poaching, but they could see some poaching happening on their team. I think players like Beast Mode he's really good in Edison, good fundamentals, I think. I think Kit has played a couple of towards the end of last season, played in a couple of the tournaments and did quite well. Beshi, I think as well is a solid player. This is if these guys got placed in the other conference, I think they would actually do fairly well.
I agree.
This is probably a little bit more difficult of a conference. Yeah, I think they're fine.
I agree. I think they're gonna surprise some people. I'm gonna keep my eye open for the formula. I think they're gonna beat a significant amount of people. They might actually bubble the playoffs, or actually could potentially make the playoffs. I'm calling that's my wild prediction. I think
it's okay. There's a lot of other wild predictions.
There's a wild because if you don't know, and I'm getting off my tangent here, but this red conference is stacked. The blue conference, they're both good. A lot of good players, a lot of good teams, but I think the red conference is extremely more powerful than the blue conference. And there's going to be a lot of infighting. There's going to be a lot of people clashing. There's going to be a lot of attrition internally. So a team can just come out of nowhere and just make a deep run. And I think that they are well positioned. The formula is well positioned to do that. Just kind of capitalize on a lot of uncertainty in this red conference. But
yeah, what I wanted to say is that there's some like high quality copium or Kool-Aid or whatever in these rankings like moving forward. So like I think your take of the fact that formula like might bubble or make the playoffs like isn't even as weird as like some of the nonsense me and Indoors agreed on.
I'm telling you something crazy is going to happen in this red conference. We think we got it all figured out, and that's never how it works in Go format. Okay, speaking of never how it works, moving on to number 11. Number 11, we have the Funky Towners. Okay, the Funky Towners. And a lot of people may not know about the Funky Towners, but I had the pleasure of actually meeting a lot of these players. They are an IRL team. They go to a lot of the GGPs in the IRL scene, I believe, in the Ohio area, led by Captain Doug Bongos and they have Bobo Bingus, Campu, Dark Confident, Toad, and Tyler_Jed Licka. Okay, Kuru, do you know anything about these duelists, and what do you think about the Funky Towners' chances of performing well in this league?
I know about a few of these players vaguely, but not heavily. So this is basically like the American version of like the Italian locals teams.
Yes.
And I feel like the standard at American locals is a little bit weaker than at Italian locals, so I have them a bit lower. I think this team like could surprise people. Like there's a chance that these players are just insane, but I don't think it's like very likely. So, I can see them like taking games off of people, but I don't think they're making playoffs.
Okay.
I can't really shit talk players I don't know too much about, so.
Okay, that's fair. I can respect that. What about you, Indoors? Do you know anything about the Funky Towners and what they got going on?
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't know a lot of these guys. Doug Bongo's obviously no relation to the Bongo Boys with Alvarado and yeah, this is again like Kuru said, this is like the equivalent of these Italian local teams. Potentially got some surprises in them, but I love to see new players join, and I'm excited to see how they do against some of the more established teams, because it's always funny to see some upset.
I've seen them play. They do pretty well. They travel and they play, and they have very confident decks, and they perform. So again, anything can happen. Okay, moving on to number 10. Number 10. We're hitting the top 10 already, folks. We're going all the way to Greece on this one with Team Nemesis coming in at number 10, led by Katsos. They also have Azure Helios, El Mongo. I'm about to destroy. I'm not even going to try this one. KC Philosophos, KC Philosophos, and Maru 13. Tanacio, Venom Blast, and Zolgar. Dude, this team is good, man. This team is good. There's so many good people. I can't say enough about this squad. But we'll throw it over to you, Kuru. What do you think about Team Nemesis? Their cool name, their cool art, and their chances of making it to the playoffs coming in this stacked red conference.
Yeah, I think this team is on the same level as like the teams like Sassy Machine Gun and Made in Heaven. GGP Athens was interesting. Zogler won that, and his deck was pretty good. I think he played pretty well. But like the deck that made second place was a bit interesting, so I don't know if that says anything about the Greek scene. Maru obviously has his FLC top as well, like Kotsos has been around for some time. I think this team is like it's like there like same as like the Sassy team. I think they can upset some people. I think that in some freak scenario, this team makes playoffs, but I wouldn't count on it. Definitely like a step above from the teams below it, though.
Mm. Okay, Endor, what do you think about that? What do you think about the Greek team we have here?
Yeah, I think this is another team that if they were placed in the other conference would probably do quite well. I think they've got, is it the guy that won the GGP? I think I like read
Zogler.
his interview
Yeah,
or
Zolgar.
something. Yeah, and he'd been playing for a while or something. Like he's been in the game for a long time. And then yeah, Maru has some experience. I think what's good about this team is they have someone in Kotsos who's going to be a great captain, who knows the online scene, who knows what to expect with some of the other teams. I think his input's going to be really valuable. And I think that's what, to me, puts them above some of the other, the other teams that we've been comparing them with, like Ceci and the Funky Towners and stuff. I think they're a step above there, purely for that added value that Kotsos has.
Okay. Like I said, I'm so excited for this season. I'm so ready for this season because I just want to see it all play out. Anything can happen. There's so many different things that can go down in this league, and that's going to be a team that I'm definitely going to be watching out for. Is Team Nemesis. Number 9. At number 9, we have Damage Step. Okay, Damage Step is back, led by captain and prominent Yu-Gi-Oh player MMF, taking the helm as captain yet again. Also with Dionysian, Frico Suave, Ekim_Angelo, Jared Masochist taking off the commentator headgear and putting on the GOAT format player equipment, staying 0, and the Gardener coming in with Damage Step. Okay, in a nice spot. We'll start with you indoors. What do we think about full power Damage Step coming back in, representing in the War League?
Well, I think it's great that they, all the memes about them being the retirement home last season, they decided to lean fully into that, and really dust off the cobwebs for some of these players. I think these guys, they have great players like MMF. Mask has been around for ages. I don't think they're going to do too well. I think they don't have the depth. I think they're going to have consistency issues. I'm excited to see MMF back and being competitive. They're a great player. One of the best players within these sort of tiers of teams that we've been talking about here. I don't expect big things. If they made playoffs, I'd be incredibly surprised. But I think they'll have an okay season.
Okay, season coming from the Damage Step. Okay. What do we think? What do you think, Kuru? What do you think about Damage Step?
So as much as like Emma is a good friend of mine, and we've had like raunchy DMs, so
Okay.
however the hell you want to put it, I think this team's just not very good. DMG's 3 best players were always so Fancy Diesel and Cameron, and all of them are not on this team. I like how you pronounce this name as Masochist, because that's what it's going to be like for them. But like that joke aside, I think the free agents they picked up are like on the same level as teams like BIRDCAGE and free agents. So like I'm not expecting two big things, and they just don't have like 5 players. I would feel happy with them starting.
Man.
I think this team actually has like a lower ceiling than the Nemesis team and the team below them.
Damn, we got some serious
but
Damage Step
but
hate coming in today, man. What's going on?
Yeah, but because like Emma and Maskis are here, like I think they'll do better on average.
Man, okay. I thought it was gonna be some Damage Step love. They did lose a lot of talent, as you alluded to, losing Insidious, losing Soul, losing Fancy Diesel. So that's a lot of premier players that they need to replace.
And even with all that talent, they finished second last season.
Yeah.
I mean, my team did lose to them, so that's like it's like ironic, right? But it is how it is.
That was a rough season for Damage Step. So maybe they can repair some of that going into the next dueling season, going into this right now. I'm gonna watch out for Damage Step. I think they're gonna do a lot better than you guys. You guys are just putting them in the coffin already, and I don't appreciate it. Okay, but now number 8. I believe this is number 8, and you already know what time it is. Number 8. We got the Instinct side, Team Instinct, representing the other half of the Ultra Instinct Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling team. Team Instinct, led by Crashfolt, also featuring Dan Zalug, Gibbonation, yours truly, myself, JDZ. Mangoes really suck. Max, aka Macer, and Mac Mariners coming in to secure that roster. Okay, we're going to start with you, Kuru. Okay, let me have it. What do you think about the not Ultra Instinct? What you gonna say? Team Instinct. What do you think about our chances and what we got going on this squad
Yeah,
going to the season?
I'm gonna flame your team a little.
Go ahead.
Like,
I don't care.
I think if this team does well, it would be like Gimination carrying as well as players like Danzaluk stepping up. I
Mm.
wasn't too. As much as like I respect his achievements, I wasn't too impressed with Crashfault in season 1. There was one game I remember where he like got himself into a goat lock, like when he was ahead, and then he lost the game because of it. So like, and this is like someone who's been playing since 2005, right, or like earlier than that. So control mirrors are like supposed to be a forte if you've played that long. So I wasn't too impressed. But I think Gimination is very, very, very good, like a lot better than a lot of the players on Team Ultra as well. So if he can step up every week and get the 1-0 for his team, I think this team could do well. I think this team can make playoffs for sure. I don't think it's likely, but I think they can definitely do it.
Okay. I respect that flame. I think that's a pretty decent amount of flame. What about you, Indoors? What do you think about your sister unit and our chances to make some noise in this red conference?
Yeah, I mean, you already know I had these guys up higher, but Kuru made me drag them down in the rankings.
You only had them one higher than I did.
It's okay.
I think
It's
this
okay.
is what is this? Team Pacific Northwest.
Oh
Been
yeah.
invaded by the Athites. I think, you know, I think Gib is, one of those players that is, like I said in the other video, there's some players that are near guaranteed win, as close as you can get in goats. I think McMariners is, a really strong player, and just what I've seen from him in the team server, I think he really knows the game, and he's a really great deck builder. Crash is, an OG, been around for ages. I wouldn't be super duper surprised if they managed to, get really close to bubbling. I have to agree with Kuru. This conference is going to be really difficult. And I think to beat everyone else and get into the top 3-4 would be really difficult. And I would say that if Team Ultra were in this conference. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys make some big upsets, and of course, looking forward to seeing you play some games, JDZ.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna play. I'm going to play. I've made a promise to myself and to everyone on this team that I'm going to play every single week. And I'm telling you right now, everyone who's doubting me, who's doubting the skill, look at my record. I didn't do bad last year, okay? And I didn't even play that much last year. But this year I'm playing every week, and this is my forte, baby. One game is all it takes. If you're gonna play me one time, you better bring your best, because I'm gonna give you everything I got, and I'm getting dubs. 15 weeks straight, JDZ is gonna be on the scene, and look out, because whoever show some pity for my enemy, dude, because it's going down. Everyone who's doubting me, this is where it starts.
Is it like I pity the fool?
I pity whoever's playing me, and that's all I got to say. It's going to be Dub Central all season long. So look out for me. We're going straight to the top. Everything you guys are talking about is nonsense. It's all about instinct, and we're going to win. And I'm putting it out there right now. Mark it. There it is. There it is. All right. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. All right, but that's number 8. Number 8. All right, I had it now. Now I'm back to JDZ Plays Goes. No longer the player JDZ. All right, going on. We have number 7. Okay, I am bad. We have Goat Community Italia. Okay, led by Captain Calcifer, with Bananakin, Japiga, Juve89, Mr. Jack 98, Richie 97, Sapo the Gyno. Can I say that? Sapo the Gyno ZZ and XY0. Okay, they did not have Mr. Man. Mr. Man was not able to play this season. Hopefully he can come in later. That is a very strong player. What do we think? What do we think about the Go Community Italian? I think this is the 4th or 5th Italian-based team we have went over so far indoors. What do you think about this team and their chances?
Yeah, I think there's some strong players. Like Juve is a really strong player. Was it Richie? Was he the guy that made top 16 of Worlds? Was that the guy?
I think so. I think so.
I think that was the guy that was top 16 Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some good players here. The main thing I think these guys are going to struggle with is availability to play. I know they originally weren't going to field a team because of that, so I think Calcifer's had to step in and pick up some other players. I think it's going to be really difficult for these guys to break above into the top 4. With some of the big names that are in this conference, it's going to be a difficult season. Would love to see some upsets. Looking forward to seeing Calcifer play some games. I haven't seen him play much, but yeah, going to be a really tough season for them, I think.
What about you? What about you, Kur? What do you think about this Go to Italia GCI team?
Yeah, I think maybe I'm too high on Latina, but either way, I think this team is like slightly worse than Latina, but they're like around there. I think that's a pretty good level anyway. Sucks that Mr. Man couldn't make it. I think he was the best player. Juve is pretty good, but Juve has always been at that level where he's around the top level, but never one of like the top players. So still very good for War League standards, but it's a little bit unfortunate. I think Calcifer originally mentioned that he was just there to like sign the team up and submit deck lists and stuff. So I don't think he'll be playing. So it might hurt them a little bit because they don't have like seven. They only have access to like 7 slots rather than 8. But that's just how it goes. Yeah, I mean, this team can make playoffs. Again, I don't think it's like super likely, but their ceiling is definitely there.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's another thing we didn't really discuss either. Just talking about, because this is a international, worldwide league, and just setting those games up and playing at different times and getting out of your rhythm. I think that's going to come up too. So just having an Italian team versus a West Coast team, or having an Italian team versus an Asian team, or whatever, a European team versus a West Coast team. It's going to be a lot of awkward times that you have to play, and that might also throw your game off too, and just setting those things and all the stuff that goes along with that. So anything can happen. I like Go Community. Maybe Calcifer will play. We'll see. Get him out here, man. Get out there and start playing. I'm playing. You need to play. Everybody needs to be playing. No more excuses sitting around. Get out there and play. Number 6, we have Sweep OD. Okay, so this is the sister organization of OD Sweep. This is Sweep OD Sweep. Okay, led by Captain Bobby Bodega, featuring Insidious, Joey Neutroground, Leswin Fox, Rick Lair 91, and Siuski and Win Ordo. Okay, so we know this team is just ops already to 2 of the people on this panel right now for a particular reason that I don't really want to go too much into, but we can. What do we think? We'll start with you indoors. What do we think about Sweep OD, and what do we think about their chances to make a deep run in this playoff?
Yeah, so I think we're now getting into the sort of level of teams that really have a great opportunity to make the playoffs. If they didn't make the playoffs, it wouldn't be like, oh, what a failure of a season. This is like one of these bubbling teams who are going to be aiming for the 3rd or 2nd spot. You got players like Swiski and Rikla who are world class. I don't think they'll be playing at all this season. I think they're on there for bench players, and then if Sweep OD make the playoffs, then we'll see them. But their starting 5 are all great players. Bobby and Insidious, both players at top worlds. Fox is someone who's improving all the time, and both the New York boys, Joey Neutral and Duck Duck, they're pretty consistent players. I think these guys are gonna be one of those gatekeeping teams again for like for the top half of the table. Where if you can't beat these guys, then you're nowhere near getting into the playoffs. I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys do. Yeah, and hopefully we see Swiski play. I'd love to see him start playing a bit more.
Okay, he played in one of the previous events, but I would like to see that as well. He's a very, very, very good Yu-Gi-Oh player. Okay, Malice, what are we thinking about for the Sweep OD team?
So given the fact that, spoiler alert, like Oversweep are starting Spiral and Purple Drunk over Swiski and Rikla, like it's very clear that Swiski and Rikla are not going to play this season. I think they're just there in case they can't schedule with like Italian players, since the time zone then fits way better. This team is like Ilotaros in season 1, like a very, very similar team. Obviously I've played with Bobby and Fox. These are like solid players. Like every player on this team is just like a solid player who you wouldn't go like, wow, this guy's insane. This guy is going to carry the team. But it's just like 5 players who are like completely solid. I don't think they're like nearly on the level of teams like Chaos Kings. Like I think there's definitely like a big gap. But this team has a high chance of making playoffs, and like it wouldn't be surprising at all. I can't really flame any of their players either. Like I would flame the players if this was like an Oversweep roster, but this is not an Oversweep roster. So yeah, I think they're solid.
I think they also are setting this roster up for like a long-term push too. They got a lot of room. They can move some players around. They can make a super mega team with Sweep Overdose, the main, or OD Sweep going into the playoffs. James Ark is still floating around unclaimed, and I know he's beholden to a lot of these teams. So anything can happen with this team and how they set their thing. But I'll be looking out for what they got going on. I will be every day. I will be silently praying for their downfall. I mean, there's no surprise there. But I think I will be shocked if they don't have a good season and perform well. Again, shout out to Insidious though. He is also a war chief in this league, and he helps out a lot with that. Should have been on this panel as well, but I tell him that to his face. He knows I'm praying for his downfall. I'm sure he knows that. All right. Moving on.
Yeah, he got like a little bit too cocky after topping Wolves, I think. It's
Absolutely.
like the whole demeanor suddenly shifted.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you can do that. You gotta, you earned it. I mean, you got some clout.
Yeah.
You gotta have. Number five. Number five. We have the worst generation, aka Bones main unit, led by the Sauce. Now, Shifty has relinquished the title as captain. Life things have come in the way, but he's still going to play. But as of now, the Sauce is the captain. Also, they have Derek number two, Eden Boss, goatioh, Jean-Claude Van Damme 93, Night Moves, Shogun Lopez, and Shifty. I think this team is incredibly strong, and I will go on record right now and say I think we have them a little too low, in my opinion. I'm going to lead with that, but
I had them higher as well.
I'm going to lead with that, but I'm going to throw it to Indoors, who kind of drag these guys down a little bit. What do we think about the just right under the bus, all 16 tires of the bus? Indoors, why did you put Bones so low, and why do you think they're so bad? No, I'm joking. No, I'm kidding.
No leading questions.
No leading question. No, seriously. What do you think about this team and their chances to make some noise this season?
I think these guys are great players. I think they don't have some of the depth that they had last season. I think I saw that Shogun is potentially taking a bit of a step back. I don't know if that was just for the off season, but he's a current player, and I think he had mentioned that he was, focusing a bit more on current. Shifty's just had a kid, so he's not going to be as available. But, you have players like Saws and Night Moves. JCVD had a bad performance at Worlds, but he's a really great player. And Derek is, I think, the ladder player that I've seen playing before. So they have good players. I think it's going to be, availability and activity that's maybe going to fall to them. Bones love free agency, so it wouldn't surprise me if they brought some people in to strengthen themselves up, and that could maybe push them above. This is a team. If they were in the other conference, they would probably have a better shot at hitting playoff places. But I don't think they're better than any of the teams that are above them, unfortunately.
Okay. I can respect that. That was some good takes. Good take. Way to defend your point. I can respect that. What about you? Kura? What are we thinking about the worst generation?
So I have a lot of respect for Sauce. I think Sauce is like a really good player. He got robbed from making playoffs. Not playoffs. He got robbed from MVP last season. It was a bit unfortunate, but it's how it goes because we had a different metric back then. I think aside from Sauce was very good. I think the rest of the roster is also just like solid players, similar to Sweep OD and similar to the team we're going to talk about next. I think just all of these are like completely fine players, but I think the ceiling is a lot higher than the players on Sweep OD, at least right now. So I actually had them a bit higher as well. I would be surprised if this team didn't make playoffs. Like I would genuinely be surprised, but at the same time, because a lot of these players are a little bit more volatile, I could see that happen. I could see them missing, but I don't expect them to miss. I think they definitely have 5 players that I would be happy to start.
Over a lot of people, yeah. Okay, I think they are. I think they definitely should have been a little higher than 5. But we'll see. You tell us what you think. If you're watching, if you're participating in the World League, you tell us where we got that wrong. But we're going to go on to number 4. Number 4, and of course, number 4, we got 400s. Okay, 400s at number 4. Again, I think they're too low. I think they're too low. I think a mistake was made here. I think they should have been a little bit higher as well. But again, okay, 400s led by captain and co-founder World Gone Mad, FDS with the underscore, Fresh IRL, Gangsta Bro, Lucas G, Mark underscore MPS, Pro Weight, and Zoidberg filling out the roster of the 400s. Okay, I don't know how WGM keeps doing it. Okay, he loses talent, he has talent, he loses members, and they go to different places or they get whatever, they go play for different teams, and he just continues to just recycle and get more people to come in and bolster this roster. I think it's a very strong roster. I think this is a very good team. All right, what are we thinking, Kuru? I know you were at one point a part of the LRG organization. What do you think about the 400s and this roster as it's currently constructed and their chances to make it into the playoff?
Yeah, my old boss WGM's gonna get angry at me for this, but I actually had this team 5th. I think that there are like so many players I respect on this team, like especially FDS, Mark, Lucas. These are fantastic players. The problem I have with this team is that I don't think that there are 5 players I want to start on this team. I think it goes like Mark, Lucas, FDS, Gangsta Bro, and then I don't know if I want to start any of these other 4 players. Like I know, like, and this is like pure disclaimer. I don't think I'm better than some of these players who I feel I don't want to start. Right? Like I'm not flaming people because I think I'm better than them, because I'm not. But I don't think any of these 4 players are at the level of the first 4 players that I've mentioned. I think there are players like Carl who are like good, but they've been playing so long that there's a lot of bad habits they have and a lot of false biases that were true like 2 years ago. Like this is true for WGM as well. These are players who I don't think belong on a top level team anymore until stuff changes about their gameplay, even though they are very good. So for me, I definitely had this team below Bones. Maybe shouldn't have them below the team we're going to talk about next, but Indoors drank the Kool-Aid too, so they're that high.
Hey,
But
you know what? This is
team
it.
can definitely still make playoffs. This team is still super likely to make playoffs, but yeah, I didn't have them as high.
Indoors, what do you think? What do you think about the 400s? I know WGM is trying to recruit you every day and trying to poach you weekly. What do you think about this squad as currently constructed and how their chances are to make the playoffs and where they are currently ranked?
Yeah, so obviously I'll always be part of this team in spirit since I won an event with a turn. I had these guys a bit higher. I think that they're all really strong players. I do think there is going to be a solid 5 every week. I think bringing in Lucas G was great for them. I will say if they had Lucas and the Lucas with a Z and Dingo, if they were both on this team, then I would have them easily. Losing Lucas especially, who's a really consistent player and would consistently bring wins for them each week. Potentially hurts their chances a bit, but I still think these guys should really be making playoffs. If they don't make playoffs, I know WGM will be really disappointed. And I think I would be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs, either through wild card or just straight up making the top 2.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair. I think once you get into this top 4 of this red conference, this conference of power, I think not making the playoffs is basically a waste of a whole season at this point. Just because how the teams are constructed and like what people you have to live up to expectations. These 4 teams are expected to make it, and if they don't, then their whole situation is just a
JDZ is gonna shake his head at the next one.
Okay,
we somehow ended up
number 3. We have, in some way, the numbers rolled out. We have Odd Eye coming in at number 3. It's got to be close. I had Odd Eye significantly lower than number 3, but my 2 co-hosts did not agree. Led by Captain Dead, who's a very strong player, Cameron, Ever2, Hall Hell, Hacksaw, Malice, and Snack coming in to complete that Odd Eye roster. Okay, we'll start with you, Indoors. Why do we have Odd Eye so high at number 3? And what do you think? What do you think their chances are of making it to the playoff?
Yeah, I think sleeping on this team is a big mistake. This isn't like 5 Guys 1 Crew last season. I think Snack and Cameron, who are both really competent players. Snack played GOAT for the first time competitively in the one of the last FLCs before the last season ended, and she did incredibly well. Bodied a lot of well-established players, and I think she can only get better. I think both Dead and Kuru are pretty solid players, and then you've got the 2 guys from was it Excelsior? I think they were going to join and they couldn't.
Yeah.
I've seen both of them play. I think they're both really good. They play current. They know the game. They've got players on this team that are going to help them with the meta. Know all the teams, know how to play against them. Like I said, if you sleep on this team, you're going to have a bad week.
Okay.
Again, they really should be making playoffs for me.
All right, and Kuru, Malice, tell us about you and your team and what you guys are going to do this season.
Yeah, so initially the plan for this season was to mess around. We had Necro on the team, and then somehow I got handed the roster. I don't know how. But unlike season 1, I actually got to build this roster this time, and I actually got to pick players who I thought were good. So it ended up being that I had access to a lot of info about these players that other people didn't. So I somehow managed to assemble this roster that I felt was really good. This is a roster where I shouldn't be starting, straight up. I'm not good anymore, obviously, or I was never that good, but I think I'm not top 5 on this roster, which is something I definitely couldn't say on the 5 Guys 1 Crew roster. I think this team, there's a chance that this team finishes 7th, but I think if this team doesn't make playoffs, it's a huge fucking disappointment. I think Cameron is way better than people give him credit for. I can't really reveal why I'm saying this because it involves some other things, and I think Ever and Haksal are also really, really high up there. So the core of these 3 players is better than the core of the 2 teams below it, even if this roster definitely lacks the depth that these 2 rosters have.
We'll see. We'll see.
I still don't know why this. I still don't know why this is the tie, but I didn't like give like a troll rating or anything. Put them first or whatever.
I think
I put the team where I put the team where I thought the team would finish.
I think we undervalued so many teams last year, and I think maybe this year we might be trying to compensate for how we did it. I don't know. You know what? Anything can happen. We'll see. Now you have the ranking, you have to live up to it, and that's proving that is going to prove to be the harder part than having it. Okay, but I like it. I like the squad. I like Cam. I love seeing Cam back playing. I love seeing Snack play. I love seeing new players come in and dope players who used to play come back. So that's always going to be cool. But now we're moving on to number two. Number two, which this one's tough. This was a tough number two. This number two, I think number two and number one can be virtually tied for number one. But number two, we have the Gorilla Unit, G Unit. OG Rampage unit coming in, and this team is crazy, man. Come on, man. This team is crazy. Led by consummate captain LeBounty, featuring world champion Dingo Sig, Fancy Diesel, Ghost Rider, Jazz is playing. Shout out to Jazz again. Moby is coming in, and Moxie's the two-time. This team is absolutely incredible. Wow. Okay, Kuru, we'll start with you. What do we got to say about the Gorilla unit being in that second position, and what do we think their chances are of making it to the playoffs?
Yeah, so people are like rating like a lot of the newer Warrior players. I still think LeBounty is like quite far in a way the best Warrior player in the game. So if you look at like the 5 players who would start on this roster, right? It goes like LeBounty, Dingo, Ghost Rider, Moxies, and Fancy Diesel. Mm-hmm. And like we're looking at a roster where Fancy Diesel looks out of place. Like this fantastic player looks like out of place as like the 5th member of the team. So like that speaks to how insane this roster is, I think. This roster, if this roster doesn't make playoffs, I don't know if they should disband. Like they should honestly disband if they don't make playoffs and like try something new next season, because this roster doesn't miss playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I can't see. They are going to lose week 1 though. I can tell you that. I can guarantee you that. But as far as after that, I mean, I can see them doing very well. Indoors, what do you think about the Gorilla unit?
Yeah, we played them week 2 as well. So maybe
so they're coming out of the gate 0-2 already. So it's going to be kind of hard to manage. But Indoors, what do you think about this Gorilla unit and the team they have? They just I think something about LeBounty and Alvarado. They are like the power vacuum of the Go format community. A lot of players like to be around them, and a lot of players like to learn from them. So they kind of attract a lot of talent, and it's just how it is. What do you think about this team as it's currently constructed, and what do you think their chances of making it to the playoffs are?
Yeah, I think if they don't make playoffs, it'll be a failure. You've got players like LeBounty and Moxies. One of those should be guaranteed wins, really. Nobody should be sleeping on Moxies anymore. Not on the 2-time, not on my watch. And they've added some sort of fresh blood to the roster. Again, similar to HK, they maybe don't have a super great amount of depth. And this is again, like if they had combined teams, they would be be absolutely insane. And I think maybe we'll see full power Rampage if any one team makes playoffs. Maybe they'll swap some people over and we'll see that. But really should be making playoffs. I don't think they'll win though.
Absolutely fantastic team. Can't say enough about the Gorilla unit. I think they got a very good chance of winning this whole thing. Again, that's just how it is, man. You gotta take power back sometime. We're gonna put them out. We're gonna put them in their place. You gotta beat them. So now moving on to the number 1 seed, the number 1 ranked team. We have none other than OVERSWEEP. Team OVERSWEEP, and this is close. This is close between OVERSWEEP and Rampage. This has been a feud that's old as time. The Overdose and Rampage connection goes way back in time. But here we are still in 2022, going into 2023, and they're still going at it. Led by captain and prominent champion Alvarado, who just can't stop winning. Bringing Lazaro out of retirement, Bullet 88 coming out of retirement, Dale, Ludovico Rizzo, Ivan Rosito, Purple Drunk, and Spiral. There's no way you can have a team and you got Dale, Ivan, Nice Boy, Alvarado, and then not be the strongest team. I mean, that's just crazy how much talent is accumulated on one team. It's absolutely incredible. We'll start with you, Kuru. What do we think about this OVERSWEEP team and their chances to make playoffs and potentially win this season?
Okay, so let's talk about who the 5 best players were in World League Season 1, right? Mm-hmm. You have James, you have AJT, and then you have Alvarado, Ivan, and Ludo. So 3 of these players are on one team. The 4th isn't playing, and the 5th is on a team that we don't expect to be like one of the best teams in the season. So It's a bit messed up if you're looking at the roster, the 5th best player looks like Dale. Like, how is Dale the fifth best player on your roster?
And
Like,
yeah,
that's not even conceivable.
that's crazy. That's insane to think about. You know, he might be the the eighth best player in the league, and he's the fifth best player on his own team, which is insane. You know, it just shows how strong that team is.
Like, yeah, like anything less than top two for this team would be a failure. I think if this team makes playoffs, like not via top two, I think like they would have to have some serious internal issues for that to happen. Like, I don't see how this team ever misses.
Yeah, they
which
dug.
means we will, which means they will finish fifth and then miss, because that's how the world works. So I'm excited for that.
What do you guys think about bringing Lazaro, absolute legendary Yu-Gi-Oh player, back out of retirement, put him on the roster? I don't know exactly how much he's going to play. Not saying he's going to be needed to play. Maybe just having access to a player of that caliber to come off the bench and put in some quality minutes. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think well, I think yeah, they've got like huge depth, and you know, having a player like Lazaro just as a bench player is pretty insane. Overall, I mean, you were saying previously, JDZ, that you know it was really close between Rampage and Oversweep. For me, it was no contest. Oversweep were like by far and away better than Rampage. Even to the point, you know, if let's assume that nothing internally goes wrong, they keep their whole squad for the entire season. I just don't see how three of their members lose each week unless it's some real, like a combination of really bad luck or bad deck choices or whatever. I think this team should be winning the conference outright, like straight up in first place, being able to pick their opponents in the playoffs. And when they make playoffs, if they don't win the whole thing, I really think it'll be a failure of a season. They really should be winning this. You know, all variants aside and whatever, the squad that they have, they really need to be winning this whole thing.
A lot of pressure. No pressure, no diamonds. There's a lot of pressure on this team. I mean, you got it. Now you got to defend it. I think I would rather be the taker than the defender, because I'm coming at them with everything I got. I'm in this conference, and every time I play anyone who is supposed to be the best, I'm going to give you my best, and we're going to prove it. So they're going to have to prove it every single week. You know, a lot of times there's a team that might get overlooked. There's teams that people might not be preparing as much for. But I know if I got Oversweep and they're coming up next, they're on my schedule, I'm going to do everything I can to win my match. And they're going to have to deal with that every single week. They're going to so much jank, so much crazy deck, so much shenanigans they're going to have to put up with every single week. And I think that's just going to be that's going to be a lot to deal with over and over and over again over such a long season. So it's only one game.
Yeah, I do think. Yeah, I do think this is a team which I'm not sure if any of the other teams in the conferences are like this, where every team that comes up against this team every week are going to basically be thinking, we're expected to lose this. Like, when nobody expects us to win. So there's absolutely no pressure on any team to beat these guys.
Right.
All the pressure is on Oversweep to not lose, I think. Just given the roster they've got, you know, like Crew said, the top 5 players of War League, they've got like the majority of those in that team. So for them to lose any week would be a bit of an upset.
100%. I don't know if you guys watch college basketball, but North Carolina never gets to storm the floor. Okay, that's what they say. Duke never gets to storm the floor. There's never going to be an Oversweep. Oh, we won, let's celebrate. They never get to celebrate. They're going to have to, every time they lose, everyone's going to be celebrating. Everyone's going to be, you know, showing out and memeing and emoting all over the place, but then they're going to be expected to win every week, and that's going to be a taxing experience that a lot of people may not be prepared for.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of hate in the chat for sure.
All right, okay, but this is dope. So this is the Red Conference, the Conference of Death. I think it's going to be a stacked event, and I'm so excited to participate in the GoFormat War League. I'm ready. I'm locked in. My body's ready. Again, make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel. Come on into the GoFormat War League. The link is in the description of this video. We're going to continue to push War League content and mix it in with the other GoFormat content. So if it's something that you're interested in, make sure you let us know in your likes and comments, and ask questions and find out about it. Get to know the players. Get to know the league. Come on in. Tag Filmstar. Watch these if you want to become a better player. This is a great way to do that. Just watching some of the best players. These are some of the best players in our GoFormat game currently right now, and they will be playing week in and week out. So you won't be able to find these matches unless you watch deep late rounds tournament. That's the only time you'll be able to see some of these players playing against each other. And in the War League, you see those every single week. So make sure you tune in and check it out. All right, co-host, do you guys have anything else you want to add before we shut this thing off and wrap it up?
I'll just say what I said, you know, reiterate what I said last week, or last video. Come join, watch everyone play War Leagues. The home of competitive goats. There's no other tournaments or events that are as competitive as Wally.
Absolutely. Come check it out. What about you, Kur? What you got to add before we wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, if you've watched this far, please comment in the comments below on Discord. I can't believe they put Odd Eye third. Odd Eye is a 7th place team. This team is not good. Cameron is washed up. Guru is washed up, and etc. etc. Please send these comments our way because it's very very funny.
I love to see it. I want to see it. Get down there. Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you guys think. Okay, but until next time, shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs as always. Peace.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.